So there's lots of things that they can do to help. A sock drive, you can do a sock drive. You can do a coat drive. You can get involved at serving. There's lots of opportunities to go serve meals at the shelters. There's opportunities, especially for kids that are experiencing homelessness. That's a big one. We don't recognize how many families we have actually in our community that are experiencing homelessness, and a lot of these kids aren't going to get Christmas presents. So you can think through getting presents possibly for a young girl or a young boy. Go to the store and think through what would a 7-year-old girl or a 7-year-old boy want, and then take that down to one of the shelters and say, this is specifically for a 7-year-old boy, 7-year-old girl. You can do those kind of things that are helpful. In January, they do what's called a point in time count, and point in time is a snapshot of the homelessness in our community, of men and women who are experiencing homelessness. And what they do is they go out and they literally get a physical number, so they count. Within the state of Idaho last year, I don't have the exact numbers, but I believe it was over 900 just in the Treasure Valley alone. And there's lots of reasons why they don't go to the shelters. Some shelters don't allow them to bring pets, so a lot of them that are choosing to remain homeless are folks who have animals who don't want to follow some of the rules that you have to be in at a certain time. Some of them have dependency or addiction issues, so they struggle with even the rules of not being drunk or not being high when they come in. So there's a lot of reasons why they don't actually go to the shelters. As it gets colder, the numbers don't actually go down. They actually stay the same or sometimes go up, because of the fact that it's not just simply can I go to a shelter and get in a shelter, because we have plenty of beds in our community. We have more beds than we have people. The problem is that sometimes the time you have to be in, what time you have to be out, all of those kind of things are so stringent that some just choose not to. So they sleep near the river, they sleep in alleys, they sleep where they can, stay warm. Last year when it snowed tremendously, they opened 2 other shelters that were just kind of, if you can get in. And the police went around and actually grabbed folks that were experiencing homelessness and brought them in because they weren't going into the traditional shelters. One of the things that I often challenge people with, though, is to keep in mind that homelessness is the reality in our community 12 months a year, not just during Christmas. I think it's important that during Christmas we think about others. I think that's a good thing. I rejoice in the fact that people think about others, especially during the holidays. I think it's great. But during the holidays, many of them find places to go, whether it's extended family who invites them in. Sometimes people will invite them into their homes during the holidays. But it's the other 11 months that are also just as important. So thinking through, maybe I could get involved serving at a shelter in February and do something in February, or during spring break we could put a group of friends together and go do something. It's not just the holidays. The holidays are good reminders for us, but the reality of it is that these men and women who are experiencing homelessness, many of them are living that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So that's the other thing to keep in mind, that homelessness doesn't know a holiday. It's the reality of many of our friends. Men and women who are on the streets right now are people that you may know. And the other thing I would encourage you with is get to know their story. Have a conversation with them. Sit down and have a conversation with them. Hear who they are. Hear a little bit about their upbringing, their past. I was the executive director of a homeless shelter in Nampa. And every Tuesday morning, my goal was to come in and have a cup of coffee with someone new and just ask them about themselves. And I found out that we have people in this valley from all over the world. We have people from Canada, we have people from back east, we have people from Asia, all that made their way here, and they all have a story. And that's the most important thing to keep in mind, is that everyone has a story.